So let's talk about dopamine a little bit. I still say this is the most widespread drug addiction that people have that nobody's aware of hardly. It's not talked about. It's considered normal. All these different ways that we stimulate our dopamine center. We call it having fun, getting pleasure. Oh, I'm here and to enjoy life, and like life is hard. I need to, need to do these things. It's the ultimate justification and rationalization that keeps us sick, actually. We're just delusional for a while. We can't help it. The things that we think are actually medicinal and helpful for us, a lot of times it's what's creating the sickness. This is what we're up against. The game is transcendence in recognizing or realizing our higher nature. This is the so-called main purpose in life. But man, it seems like the cards are stacked against us for a while. We got to go through this level of ignorance and suffer a little bit and then realize what's really true. Most don't do that. They live their whole life. Most people don't change. I've been on the planet long enough now that I've known people for decades. And so I can see, you see, I remember how they were 30, 35 years ago, and now I see them now. Most don't change. They just stay the same whole life. They learn how to act a little better, better actor, but inside there's no real change. So we're surrounded by people who they don't deliver the message that some of us are delivering and sharing with each other, of looking at things that where like this type of knowledge isn't widespread. So you're dealing with something that, number one, it's hard to even know, like it's hard to know the things that are actually hurting you. That's number one. Number two, once you know them, it's hard to stop doing it. And then number three, there's like no support. Just the opposite. It's anti-support, because they're telling you there's something wrong with you for even wanting to do these things, trying to change. So this is what we're up against. What are some dope ways that a lot of people negatively stimulate their dopamine center? I've shared on my semen retention channel like 2 videos ago, healthy ways of dopamine. The mind, see, it's like all or nothing. Like, oh, you mean I can never extract any dopamine? No, like walking through the woods, talking with high-level company, listening to music that puts you in touch with your higher nature. This is good. This is good dopamine. Exercising in a balanced way, good dopamine. Just you have to use your common sense to see what's so-called good dopamine and bad dopamine. Good and bad, those words I don't really believe in, but we're talking about what puts you in touch with your higher nature and what puts you in touch with your lower nature. That's all we're talking about. That's the definition of good and bad. So, ultimate dopamine addiction, stimulation, easiest way, and it's free, is when we look at porn and jerk off and have sexual fantasies and go and have promiscuous sex. Well, that's not free for everybody, but the sexual world, in whatever form that takes, this is ultimate dopamine hit. My book's out. You can see my website and see the link, see my books, and it's about preserving your sexual energy. I get deeper into dopamine there. So, some other ways, though, besides just the sex and porn world, just the internet, period. You see, I've been gone from America for, 20 years for the most part. And then when I came back, the mental illness here has grown compared to, 20 years ago. And I ascribe that to the internet. Just look around, everybody's on their damn phone. Like, it's sickening. They or on the plane or anywhere. It's even bleeding through now into the third world countries. They don't have even, they're not comfortable or able to be with themselves even for like a few seconds. As soon as there's some downtime, they get on their phone, start scrolling. TikTok, Instagram, like that stuff's the worst. I didn't grow up in that era with the TikTok and stuff, so by the time that came out, I was already done. I just wasn't into the stimulation anymore, so I never really got on it. But I mean, I checked it out just to see. I remember somebody said, "Oh, you should promote your videos on that, and you can grow your audience." And so I looked at it, and I'm like, man, this is the last place I'd want to talk and give this message. I mean, the audience there, it's like, yeah, they're you get stimulated so much, you build a tolerance for everything, including what used to give us a little hit or stimulate us. Now it doesn't work. It stops working after a while. We need bigger stimulation and bigger stimulation. In the internet, you can see proof of that. Keep trying to do more radical things, more shocking things. You know, people dying making videos trying to do the next shocking thing. Because the audience gets bored. They want more shocking. Same with the porn world. They keep, you know, coming out more shocking. Same with horror movies and violence and action. You know, more shocking, more, you know, more. Yeah, because you're like ultimate dopamine addict, and so you need more and more. It's the same with any drug. That's the thing, like they don't know it's a drug. It's no different than street drugs. It's worse. It's worse because you can do it all the time. You can find a way to just keep yourself busy, keep hitting this dopamine box over and over and over again. So, again, I feel if you just start with the whole PMO world, this whole watching porn and masturbating. Man, the orgasm is such a strong dopamine hit. Do you realize, like, just pay attention when you orgasm. It's very strong. For women, it's even stronger. This is why it's a joke when people say the women think, or people in general think, oh, for a woman, they don't have semen, so they don't lose any energy when they orgasm. If you're orgasming all the time, it's not about the semen, it's about the ojas that's inside the sexual energy. Everybody has ojas, man, women, dogs, everybody. So when the sentient being, no matter what they are, when there's an orgasm, it's a very strong spasm. And it's a very strong release of dopamine, and this is why they're all addicted to it. So when you're constantly orgasming, no matter your gender, you're weakening all your bodies, actually. Physical body, emotional body, mental body. You just get weaker. And you start to depend. You start to depend on that hit when you don't feel good or you feel down. You're like, oh, then the mind, the dopamine addict mind kicks in. Says, oh, just go have an orgasm or go arouse yourself. Oh, yeah, I feel better now. Wow. I'm using a natural. I'm not doing drugs. I'm just like being natural about it. Yeah. But you get weak. You get you'll see you get weak mentally. You start to develop a false dependence on orgasming, for example, or going to the internet, or, you know, just replace it, whatever. Watching violent movies, listening to this really ragistic type music, you know, that stimulates, like, gets you going. Now look, everything in moderation, man. I'm not some dogmatician, and, well, you guys know that. Like, I don't care what anybody does. Like, life's gonna sort all this out. It's not like I'm here to save the world or something. You suffer because that's what we got to do for a while. Like, we live in ignorant bliss with all these stupid habits, and then we suffer them. Then we start to, our deeper nature starts to kick in. We're like, wait a minute, I need to, like, look at my life because I don't think I'm doing something right. Because I'm, like, not feeling good. I'm not living in the highest version of myself. I can just tell, like, something's off. So then you start looking at this stuff. It happens automatic. We can't miss. But I'm sharing for those who, like, already know that. You can't tell this to people who aren't open to it. It's a total waste of time. And yeah, you'll just be met with resistance. So those who you're embarking on this new journey, this new way of life, this character change, at first it feels like you want to tell your friends or people you know because you like can see the truth on some level. Yeah, don't do that, because it's just a setup. It's a setup for disappointment. You can tell, you can hint it or something, and then see if they catch that ball. And then if they do, then okay, you share. But don't try to cast pearls to swine. So, well, I was talking about moderation, though. You do whatever you want to do, but some things are very addicting. You can't, do something once in a while. Those who have an addictive personality. Yeah, I'm going to, jerk off, once a week. Yeah, you do it once, and the next day, all of a sudden, the propensity to do it's even stronger. And, and you're like, wait, okay, maybe I need to put this down. Just because every time I do it, it's like one's not enough, and then thousands too much. It's an NA slogan. Same with some people are like that with smoking weed. I was like that in the past as a teen. I'm allergic to it now. I'm not called to do it. I'm not called to do any chemistry anymore. I used to do I liked ayahuasca and San Pedro. That was a higher end medicine. I could call that true medicine. But, and then it helped me do introspection. It put me in a higher state. But then that season ended. I actually can introspect more deep now, not on medicine. I don't like the effect it has. It's very stimulating. All this stuff, stimulating. We need to be stimulated maybe if we're super suppressed, okay? You do it until you get to ground zero, to where you feel like you have a semblance of balance, and then put it down. You see, I have a tendency to overdo things. I like the effect it had. It's also dopamine stimulative. So I did it 3 years past what I should have done it. And then I finally, okay, I got to put it down because it was aggravating my nervous system. So it's like medicine can be poison, poison can be medicine. It's about the frequency of what we do it and how much and the situation and all these things. You have to come to this living wisdom in yourself, which you will. And then you just do what you do. It's not about being so strict and then, you can. This is life, and sometimes we're going to do what we do. It's cool. But at least be aware of what you're doing and the effects of what you're doing that it has on your state. That's what I'm saying. And then the rest of it will just work out. You'll see. If you're supposed to do it, if you're not supposed to do it, how much you're supposed to do it, all that stuff will be clear in time. Yeah, that's my message. Go see if you want my book, you can check my website link. It's about preserving your sexual energy. I like that better than semen retention, All right, see you.